joining me today. My name is Anissa, and this is Something to Finish podcast, where I discuss topics that help you and I ascend to the highest version of ourselves. Thank you so much for being here with me today, to my new and returning listeners. And we're going to hop right into the usual announcements. Please go ahead and subscribe, like, share this video if you're watching on YouTube, and also click the notification bell so that you can know when I upload new podcast episodes, which is every Tuesday. So you can anticipate Tuesdays now. And you can also go ahead and go on Apple Podcasts, the app, or the website. It doesn't matter which one. And give this podcast, first of all, subscribe to it so that you can be notified there as well. Two places are better than one. And write a review. Tell everybody and me what you love about Something to Finish podcast, what you learned, and why they should listen in as well and become a part of our community. And please do not forget to rate it 5 stars. So, now that that's out of the way, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to jump into our chakra wisdom cards. So today's chakra wisdom card is the sixth chakra, third eye chakra, wisdom and discernment. It says, I am open to understanding the spiritual truths behind the situations occurring in my life right now. I offer my wisdom to assist others along their path. I trust in a higher source to guide me and to help others who ask for my guidance. I practice discernment and listen deeply within for the truth. I choose to respond to rather than just reacting to situations, acting with clarity, courage, and conviction. Boom. Another card straight out the deck, the wisdom deck, that is perfect for this week's topic, which is the way that childhood, unresolved childhood traumas and issues can come up when it comes to children. And and it's not even just about having your own children. That is a big part of it, and the big part of why I am talking about it today. But just being around children in general and how you parent yourself, you know, as someone who does not have a child, you could take care of yourself in a certain way just because of the way that your childhood was, whether that's good or a little bit negative. So let's jump right into it. Like the card says, I choose to respond to rather than just reacting to situations, acting with clarity, courage, and conviction. We do not realize, especially before we come before we become parents, just how important that is. And by now, you guys should know that I have a 2 year old, and I definitely try my best to follow the gentle parenting narrative. And what that means for me is making sure that, you know, my daughter feels heard, making sure that she feels safe, making sure that she has an actual voice and she feels okay with that. And for me, I've learned so much about myself and about the things that I have not dealt with from my childhood just by parenting her and just by, you know, being being observant of my own reactions to things that she does or says, or things that play out. And it's so important for us to tap into that knowing and that understanding, because for me, I think that's mostly what gentle parenting is about. It's about being open to seeing the way that you react to things and why you react to those things and why, we deem children good or bad, or, pleasing or not pleasing. And, I think it's just a way to help heal not only our relationships with our children as they grow up and, as we go on in life, but it's a way to help heal our relationship with self and possibly even our own parents. So I just think this conversation is really important because so many things in the short 2 years, I guess 2.5 years that I've had my daughter, it has changed the way that I look at things, especially the way that, I respond to my mom, the way that I respond to other people, the way that I respond to my siblings. It is a huge eye opener having a child, or just being around a child in general, even if you have younger siblings or cousins, nieces, nephews, whatever. Being around children really, if you allow it, can widen your view of yourself. And like I said, the way that you react to things. So in my case, I have had a lot of, I guess, reflection lately on why I can be so, I guess, like defensive. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not always defensiveness. I really don't know the word for it, but, just having expectations of Amali, my daughter, and realizing like that's not what I wanted for myself and her relationship. And to allow, I've just by observing this, I am trying because, helping you and I on this podcast, I've been trying my best to step away from that and, just stop being so expectant of a toddler who is not a grown adult. You know what I mean? To act certain ways or do certain things, especially like on command. And I think that really stems from my childhood and growing up wanting to please my parent and, wanting to be good or wanting to get that approval. And I don't want her to feel those extreme emotions of disappointment when, you may get in trouble or you may have a disagreement with your parent as a child and you're not able to justify yourself or express things in a way where you are actually heard and it's like, oh, this is just a kid, this is a mistake, or you know I just want to give her that space to make mistakes, to be human. And not saying that, my parent did not allow me that space, but that was a different time. Even though it wasn't that long ago, it was a different time. And, you know, parenting ideals were different and everybody, all parents and children have different ways of communicating and different relationships and different views. And every single one of us as individuals perceive things differently. So, you like disrespect, for example. Some people think children expressing themselves and um, you know, ex- expressing their voice is disrespectful. Some deem it as, oh wow, like I'm so glad that my child has the courage and the openness and feel safe enough to speak to me openly and freely about their opinion and their views on things. So that's what I mean when it's like when I say everybody communicates differently, everybody perceives things differently. And in my case, no fault, to my parents or anything, but I grew up wanting to please, the adults around me and wanting to be, like I said, that quote unquote good kid. And that carries on with you as an adult. I read a lot of different forums about this topic, like just childhood and dealing with parents and um, childhood trauma and unresolved issues and things like that. And I ran across a prompt, and it was saying pretty much like, is it normal to want to please your parents? And somebody, this is funny, but it's not funny. Somebody was writing about their sister, their older sister, and they were basically like, if you want to be a depressed loner, yeah, that's normal. And she was just expressing how her sister, like, she watched her sister as they were growing up, like, make decisions, her own life decisions based on her parents' happiness and her parents' approval. And how, she went into the field, I think it was like medical field, and she hated blood. She got queasy, at the sight of things like that. She didn't like personal questions and discussing personal information. She she failed a multitude of her tests that, she needed to graduate from medical school, and she spent the majority of her life in medical school and did ultimately did not practice, did not, fulfill any of the goals that you would think you would fulfill after completing and achieving medical school. So that was just like, wow. That was a really good example of that point of view. And it really opened my eyes, and I'm like, wow, like, ultimately, if you are living your life, this seems so simple. This seems so simple, but ultimately, if you are living your life to please someone else or other people, you're not really living, and you are crippling yourself. And I also was reading how, and this is a good tidbit that you can take away too, to justify, you know, your unresolved issues and the way that you operated as a child and how they may show up as adulthood, justify, why you should just, like, try to move away from it, or even maybe write down some things in your journal that make you think about why you do operate in certain ways. And, maybe you can link it back to your childhood, but it made me think, like, I really lost it. I really lost it. My my thought. But anywho, I'll come back to it. But it just really made me think, like, wow, like, you really cannot live your life for other people, no matter if it's the people that you love, your partner, your children. You really have to step back and allow yourself to see those things that you go through because of your childhood. And I had a pretty good childhood, but when you don't deal with things, or when you don't speak up about things in fear of not being pleasing, it can ultimately hurt you in different types of ways. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Health. I was reading that trying to please others can is directly linked to actual physical health along with mental health. Like, you're out here trying to make sure Sally, Tim, and Bob are happy, and that will literally put a strain on your body. And there are chronic illnesses that are attached to those type of actions and ways of living. So if you want to have something to justify your pivot in life and who you're doing things for and why you're doing things, let it be that your health is way more important than pleasing others, because we have to realize that we all have our own lives that we are living. So ultimately, disagreements is healthy. Yeah. So I want to read, what is it? The Notes from the Universe card. So, because once again, it was great for this week. Go way out. Think beyond your present dreams to the dreams you will dream once these have already come true. And when you can clearly see how confident you will walk and how proud you will feel, start walking and feeling like that today. Far out the universe. Literally, what I was just saying. When you start to walk in your own power and walk in the things that you believe in, you will feel so amazing. You will feel like living my life like it's golden. You know what I mean? And sometimes we just have to step away from um that feeling of wanting to be accepted or wanting to be approved of or seeking the approval of others. And it's so easy to be like, I don't care what other people think. Um, excuse me, I don't care what other people think. I'm not I'm not phased by what other people want or think of me. But we ultimately we do care, especially the people we care about and love and we've been around. I mean, you don't even have to be around somebody for a long time. If you care about somebody and you love them, ultimately they are going to affect the way that you operate and affect the things that you do. And we want to be celebrated, and the things that we do and the things that we go after sometimes lead us into that type of dynamic of, oh, like, is this going to be something that, people are going to support me in? Or is this like me? Is this are people going to think that I'm trying to be different? Or, and that can be scary sometimes, like making a life pivot or making different choices. And people are like, this is not like you. Or, you know, that's not anything I thought you would do or want, and it's like, well, and that's okay, because people change and people grow and it's okay to discover yourself for yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. It's okay to discover yourself for yourself. And in order to do that, we have to remember that just as we help children along the way in their childhood, we have to go back to ourselves. And my nana, she told me this a few weeks ago. She was like, sometimes you have to look at a picture of yourself as a child and say, I have to take care of her. Wisdom. Okay. It's the elders for me. She said, you have to take care of her. And that is so true. Sometimes just take out a picture or look at a picture of your childhood self and just, go back to that and just remind yourself you have to take care of that baby, that child, and move accordingly after you tap into that, because it can be so powerful to look at a picture of yourself as a child and remember the things you went through, remember the happy times, remember the uncertain times or the confusing times that you may have repressed for a very long time, and then move forward in power and in protection of that child. I'm gonna just leave it there because it's getting deep. But yeah, this is the conversation and what I've been thinking about, lately when it comes to my baby. Like, she really makes me think about so much. And it's not just about, me homeschooling her or me loving her so much or her being so amazing. It's just making me also think about things about myself and rediscover things about myself. So I thought that it would be helpful for me to, discuss this on my podcast with you all, because it might be something that you all can resonate with. And I have one last card for y'all. Y'all gonna be like, dang, she always got like some cards. Like, what's up with her and these cards? But I have this deck, my therapy cards. My therapy cards. I got these. I don't know. I got these a while ago, but they are super awesome and I came back across them and it's a guide for self-discovery and insight. So I pulled one of these just for the episode and I thought it'd be nice to leave you with to think about. So it says, "What are you doing to recharge and refuel? We cannot give to others what we do not have for ourselves." Think about that, because I know I will be. And thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you guys have a great week. And I cannot wait to talk to you next week. Peace.